Practice makes perfect. Learn my craft.
Welcome to this coloured pencil tutorial. I'm Semma Martin, a professional colour pencil artist, and today we're going to draw a horse eye as a value study using the Learn My Craft Practice Journal Equine Edition number 21. So that means that we're going to focus on light, midtones and darks using just one colour. You can download the reference image and the printable outline with the links below. You can also get your own copy of the journal by clicking the link below. So the materials that I'm using is Caran d'Ache Pablo in Prussian blue, and this is a single pencil that can go very dark and also very light, which is perfect for a value study. I'm also using Strathmore 500 series paper cut to a 7 by 7 centimeter square. It's a smooth paper with little tooth, and tooth just means texture on the paper. I'll be using a sharpener to keep a fine point, a kneaded or putty eraser, and an electric eraser for lifting highlights. Optional tools include a pencil blender and a slice tool for fine hairs. If you don't have these exact items, use whatever you have. Any good drawing paper will work, and any deep blue or even a graphite pencil can be used for this study. So the most important thing here is the process. So feel free to pause the video at any time and take your time with each step. There is no rush. So let's begin. I'm starting this project by cutting my paper down to size, and I'm using the 500 series paper. You don't have to cut your paper down to size, you can use whatever size you want, but I like to fit mine into the practice journal itself. So I like working small for these studies because it helps us focus on technique without feeling overwhelmed by a big piece. So since this is a value study, I'll be working with just one colour, and I'm using the Caran d'Ache Pablo Prussian blue. And this is one of my favourite colours for value work because it can create a really wide tonal range. And that just means that I can get deep, rich darks by pressing harder, and also soft, delicate lights by using a lighter pressure. Using just one pencil helps us to practice seeing the values, which are the light and the dark areas of your drawing. So without worrying about any colour choices, it trains the eye to notice the contrast, and which is the foundation of realism. For this piece, I'm going to freehand my outline directly onto the paper. So freehanding is simply drawing the shapes yourself without tracing or transferring. If you prefer, you can use the outline I've provided through the link below. There's no right or wrong here. It just depends on your comfort level. Freehanding is a great way to practice accuracy, but tracing an outline can save you the time and help you jump straight into the shading. So now that I'm starting to lightly sketch the horse's eye, at this stage I'm not worrying about detail, I'm just mapping out the structure. So I begin with very rough outlines that I can easily adjust later on. It's important to think of these first marks as guides rather than the finished lines. I'm paying close attention to the placement of the eye inside the square of my paper. So for example, I look at the distance from the edge of the box to where the eye begins. Measuring with your eyes like this helps to keep the proportions accurate. And proportions simply mean the size and the position of one part of the drawing compared to another. I sketch in the basic shapes of the eye, so the eyelid and the tack around the horse's face. So the tack is the leather strap that goes across the horse's face, and it casts strong shadows that change the shapes that we can see. I also lightly mark where the pupil sits because its placement is key to making the eye look real. When you're drawing from a reference, it's easy to get distracted by the darkest shadows and forget about the actual structure underneath. So instead of letting the darks trick our eye, think about what you're really seeing. The horse's eye is round, sitting inside of a socket and covered by the eyelids. So remind yourself of that form as you draw. So for now, don't aim for perfection. Just block in those basic shapes: the eye, the lids, the strap, and the pupil. Those loose outlines will give us a strong foundation for when we start adding the values later. So now we're going to start shading the darkest parts of the eye. So let's begin with the pupil, which is that black circle in the center. For this part, you can press a little bit harder with your pencil because the pupil needs to be as dark as possible. This will give us the strongest value, which means the deepest shadow in the drawing. So once the pupil is filled in, lightly block in the other dark areas that you can see around the eye. Don't worry about getting them perfect right now, we're just marking where they go. Look closely at the shadows under the eyelid and the deep crease between the horse's face and the leather strap. And also the dark background on the far side of the strap. Take your time and slowly build up these shadows and layer by layer. Remember that shading is not about pressing hard everywhere. It's about going slowly, darkening little by little until you get the depth that you want. You can keep adding layers until these dark areas look almost black. So this step is all about getting set up the structure of your drawing. So by placing these darkest values early, we'll have a guide to help balance the lighter and midtones later on. So now that the dark areas are mapped, I go back and make them darker. I start with the deepest spot in the pupil. I add more layers right over the pupil. Layering means just putting thin coats of pencil on the top of each other. More layers give a richer darkness. I keep my pencil sharp and use small circles. So small circles help the tone look smooth. I press a little bit more in the very darkest parts and then lighten my pressure as I move out. So pressure is how hard you're going to push with the pencil. Hard pressure gives us dark marks and light pressure gives us soft marks. I look closely at the pupil and the bright reflections on it, and I leave the tiny highlight shapes clean. Paper showing through is our brightest value. I also deepen the crease under the top lid and the thin shadow between the face and the leather strap. I compare the sizes as I work, and this is checking the proportions. So if something looks too wide, I nudge the edge in. If it looks too small, I add a little bit more. Let me remind you what values are again. So values are how light or how dark an area is, and values are built from the form. So form is three-dimensional shape of the eye and the lids. So when the darks sit in the right places and the lights sit in the right places, the eye looks round and real. A few tips as you shade. Squint at the reference to simplify the lights and the darks. Use the side of the pencil to lay a soft tone on the cheek and the background, and keep edges soft where the skin rolls, and keep the edges sharp where the lid meets the eye. Soft edge means the tone fades, and a hard edge means it changes quickly. So if a highlight gets too dark, I can gently lift it with a kneaded eraser. You can tap it or rub it, or you can use an electric eraser. I prefer using an electric eraser because it can take off quite a lot of pigment and it can help you have some clean edges. You can either get a battery operated one or a USB operated one, but both of mine are from Derwent. So I keep moving around the eye so that the whole drawing grows together. I add a pass to the background on the far side of the strap, and I darken it enough so that the strap will pop forwards later. I'm not really chasing any details right now. I'm still just building a clear map of the values. So take your time and check and adjust. So if your darks are not dark enough, add another layer. If your lights are not bright enough, protect them or use an eraser to lighten them back up again. Set your darkest darks and protect your lights, and make the main form read clearly. So when that looks right, we're ready to start the midtones. So now that we've finished shaping the eye itself, we can move outwards and use the same shading technique for the rest of the face. So start by looking closely at the eyelid shadows. Notice how the muscles of the horse's face create little folds and dips that catch the light and cast shadows. So these changes in value are what makes the drawing feel three-dimensional. So work your way outward from the eye, shading slowly. Try using cross-hatching here, and that just means drawing one layer of lines in one direction and then another layer of lines on top of it going the other way. Cross-hatching helps to build tone without smudging. So pay attention to how the shadows wrap around the lower eyelid and the tear duct. Follow the shapes that you can see in the reference. If you want an area to be darker, then press a little bit harder with your pencil. If you want a little lighter area, then use softer pressure. And you can keep adjusting your mark so that the values match what you see. This stage is about gently expanding the drawing, so always thinking about where the lights and the shadows fall. Bit by bit, the forms of the face will start to emerge. Darken the crease between the horse's face and the leather strap. So this area is in deep shadow, so keep layering your pencil until it looks strong. Use a kneaded eraser or an electric eraser to gently lift out small highlights. If they've gotten too dark, especially inside the eye, then this will help the eye stay shiny and realistic. So now let's focus on the leather strap and the buckle beside the horse's face. Here, proportions and clean edges are really important, so take your time checking the placement. Even small shifts can make the buckle or strap look a little bit off balance. Notice how shiny metal works. So it looks bright because it has a very strong highlight sitting right next to the deep shadows. That sharp contrast creates the reflective effect, but remember it's not about drawing an outline around the metal. Outlines will just flatten your drawing. Instead, use your pencil pressure to build those shadows carefully and leaving space for the light areas to shine through. So if you've darkened an area too much, don't worry. Use your electric eraser or a kneaded eraser to bring back the highlights. Just tap or lift gently until the shine comes back, and adjust your pencil pressure as you shade. Press harder for the darker shadows and lighter for the softer transitions. By keeping the edges crisp and the values strong, the strap and the buckle will start to pop forward and look solid and reflective and real. So now that we have all of our darkest values in place, it's time to bring the rest of the face together by working in the mid-tone range. So this is where the drawing really starts to look complete. So think about all of those small wrinkles around the eye, the dips in the wrinkles that create little shadows, and the raised parts that catch the highlights. If you keep that in mind, your shading will naturally create the texture of the skin. So work in smooth layers, slowly building up the tones, and don't rush. As you're shading, step back and ask yourself, are my darks dark enough? And are my lights standing out clearly? Don't be afraid to add more blue in the shadows if needed. A value study like this is all about training your eye to see the contrast and teaching your hand how to control it. And that's why we do them, because once you understand your values and how to use values, you can make any drawing look more realistic, no matter what subject you choose. Remember, colored pencil is all about patience, so use your electric eraser to put out any highlights where needed, especially on the raised areas of the skin, like that sharp contrast between the darker shadows and those bright highlights is what gives the horse's face the dimension and realism that we need. So now sharpen your pencil and move on to the eyelashes. Use a quick flicking motion, almost like a swooping the pencil off the page, and this keeps the lashes fine and natural rather than heavy or stiff. Let me remind you what values are again. So values are how light or how dark an area is, and values are built from the form. So form is three-dimensional shape of the eye and the lids. So when the darks sit in the right places and the lights sit in the right places, the eye looks round and real. You can also use a slice tool here, gently scratching off the pigment to reveal crisp white lines for the fine hairs and lashes. If you'd like, you can use a pencil blender to smooth areas out without adding more colour. And this is useful for those softer patches of skin where the texture should look more even. And that's it. You've completed your horse eye study. So in this tutorial, you have learnt how to build a value study using just one coloured pencil. We started with the outlines and basic shapes, then we blocked in the darkest shadows before layering the midtones and pulling out the highlights. Along the way, you've practiced controlling pressure, using tools like erasers and the slice tool for highlights and textures, and paid close attention to proportions. Most importantly, you discovered how values, the highlights and the midtones and the darks, bring depth and realism to your drawing. You've done an amazing job here, and I really look forward to seeing your result in the community group.